Hi there, it's Laura from Green Tree again. We're starting a little later today, but we had some technical difficulties with our new internet setup. So, today we are talking about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, chocolate. But don't worry, if you're not a person who can have chocolate, that's okay. We've also got some carob. Not everybody knows the differences between chocolate and carob, so this seemed like a really good opportunity for us to kind of lay those out for you. So, let's start with chocolate. Chocolate actually comes from a tree. I don't know how many people know this. It grows in a sort of little fat pod that starts out kind of green, works its way through yellow and orange all the way up to red. They take these little fat pods off the tree and then take out the pulp and the seeds. Then the seeds get fermented. After the seeds have been fermented, then they're dried. After they're dried, they're roasted. Then the skins are taken off and it can be ground up to use as cocoa powder and then make all the wonderful chocolate products that we know and love from that. Chocolate is actually native to Central and South America, and it's a type of evergreen tree, which I did not know. I had to look that up. And it's actually, weirdly enough, in the same family as okra and cotton. So that's a little bit of the backstory of chocolate. Chocolate contains caffeine. I don't know if you can tell, but I did taste these before we started so that I could describe them to you, so I'm a little bit jazzed up on chocolate. But carob, the other thing we're going to talk about today, does not have caffeine in it. So carob is also a type of flowering evergreen tree, but in this case it grows on a long, thin pod rather than a sort of a football-shaped one. And the little pods themselves are dried and ground, and that's what carob is made from, rather than the many-step process of removing the beans from this pulpy pod like you get for chocolate. And the carob pods look a lot like a locust tree, if you've ever seen those. They're like a long, flat, narrow pod. So that's where carob comes from. And carob does not have any caffeine. It's a very similar taste. It's also an evergreen tree. Might have already said that. And that's actually in the same family as peas. Which makes more sense when you see the pods. I was hoping to have a picture for you today, but again, like I said, we had some technical difficulties with our internet, so that was not possible. And carob is native to the Mediterranean, so it's from a different part of the world than chocolate. A lot of chocolate is actually grown in Africa now, but it is, like I said, native to South and Central America. So today we've got 3 different kinds of carob for you to try and 3 different kinds of, I'm sorry, I actually just got my pictures handed to me. Somebody must have got the internet working. So I have 3 different kinds of carob and 3 different kinds of chocolate. But first I'm going to show you what a chocolate tree and a carob tree look like so you can see what I was talking about earlier. So this right here, I was going to cut these out and make them all beautiful for you, but that didn't work out. So this is actually a chocolate tree. These little pods that you'll see here, these are the cacao pods, and they start out green like this, shift to yellow, and then they'll get orange, and when they're ready to pick, they're a really intense kind of pinky red, and that's where chocolate comes from. These pods also have kind of a pulp inside them that you can eat as a snack, or you can ferment it to make alcohol, because human beings will do that if it's possible. Then we also have carob tree. Now this is kind of a close-up. I couldn't get the whole tree. The trees are actually really tall. Carob trees can get as tall as 49 feet. But you can see these long, thin little pods. And that, I'm going to hold it as close to the camera as I can get. That is what carob comes from, is those little pods. So there you go. You got to see your pictures after all. Thanks for your patience, guys. Okay, so 3 kinds of carob, 3 kinds of chocolate. If you've never had carob before, I would describe the flavor as being very close to chocolate, but where chocolate has kind of a fruity undertone, the undertaste of carob is more like a malted grain. Like if you've ever had barley syrup or anything that's sweetened with barley syrup, it's like a sweeter grain flavor. It almost reminds me more of a baked good than a fruit. So the first carob that we're going to sample is these little carob malt balls. I mean, they're just what they sound like. They're carob-covered malted milk balls. To me, they taste like Easter candy. They remind me of when I was a kid, and those little sort of candy-coated ones. They've got that slight crunch, they've got the sweetness, and they really don't taste any different from the chocolate covered ones to me. And they're kind of a sweeter, like towards a milk chocolate. You don't typically see things labeled dark carob the way you do dark chocolate, but these are probably the closest thing. This is the second carob item that we have. These are coconut carob clusters. They're a deeper, they don't have any straight sugar added. They actually have a malted barley as the sweetener, and they're a bit more of an intense chocolate flavor. And with the toasted coconut in it, this one is probably, to me, the least distinguishable from regular chocolate, texture-wise and flavor-wise. It just tastes like a nice dark chocolate and coconut shavings. Then we have vegan carob chips. These don't have any milk in them, unlike the other carob products. They're just like a chocolate chip. Maybe slightly flatter, but I think that has more to do with the company than what they're made of. They taste like kind of like a milk chocolate chocolate chip to me, rather than a standard sort of semi-sweet chocolate chip. And this is the one, because this is pure carob, where I would say you can feel the most texture difference from chocolate. Carob doesn't get quite as smooth and melty in your mouth, but the flavor's definitely still there. And you know, in a cookie or a snack, this is definitely a good way to go, especially if you're sensitive to caffeine. Excuse me. So, chocolate, we're going to go from lightest to darkest for you. I'm not normally a milk chocolate fan, but this is actually really good. Equal Exchange Milk Chocolate Caramel and Sea Salt Crunch. To me, this has almost a toffee flavor. Like, this is sort of a smooth milk chocolate with a toffee. It's not a super light milk chocolate, it's a 43%, but it's definitely a milk chocolate. Quite a bit sweeter than the other dark chocolates we're going to look at. And the cool thing about Equal Exchange is that you can kind of see on the back here, I know it's reversed, they'll have a little story about the farmer and where the chocolate comes from. And, oh, I guess I don't have one out here with me, but on the inside of the wrapper there's more information about that as well. So it's kind of a cool way to see where your food is coming from in a little bit more depth. So that's the lightest one. Then we have Chocolove Crystallized Ginger Dark Chocolate. This one is a 65%, so that's a mid-range dark chocolate. I would say in texture and flavor, it's really similar to me to those little Dove Special Dark Squares. I don't know if you can tell, I've eaten a lot of different kinds of chocolate. But it's a very smooth, definitely with that strong chocolate taste, but there's enough sugar in there to keep it from being bitter. Like, it's smooth and intense. And then with the ginger, because it does have these little pieces of crystallized ginger in it, that gives it a little bit of a zip. It's almost like being spicy, but not quite. So it just is a nice little contrast in there, and it actually, that helps stop the bitterness too, because the crystallization that they use with the sugar makes the chocolate a little less bitter, because there's some sweetness in the ginger. And finally, this is not for the faint of heart, but I actually really like this. This is Taza Wicked Dark, 95% stone ground chocolate. So stone ground chocolate, which is all of the Taza bars that we carry, we also have like a raspberry and a toffee, has a very unique texture. If you've ever had like a stone ground flour versus a regular flour, the stone ground has that coarser texture to it. A stone ground chocolate is the same way. It has almost a grainy feel when you first put it in your mouth, but because it is chocolate, it melts and gets smooth as you chew and as the heat from your mouth hits it. Because it's such a high percentage, of 95%, it actually has, you can taste that fermentation step of the chocolate. So it has almost a slight fermented fruity flavor and then a strong kick of bitterness at the end. This is basically the black coffee of chocolate. It's the strongest, the least diluted, and the closest to the beans that you're going to get without trying a nib, which we do actually have. If anybody's curious, I can show you what a cocoa nib is. And then finally, this is a little bonus from our deli, not something that I was planning on doing today, but they wanted to throw it in there. We've also got samples of our awesome face-sized, I don't have a tiny head, this is just a really big cookie, face-sized chocolate chunk cookies. So we have some of these in the store, they're just over to the side for me. And if you've never had one of these, they're vegan. Some people might think of that as a plus, some people might think of it as a minus. I would say it doesn't really matter because they're really tasty cookies. And you can go ahead and come down and try these too. And if you have any questions about any of our chocolates, you can go ahead and post it to the comments on here or stop down. I'll be doing this till about 5:30. That's your chocolate Carob primer. Hope you guys are having a fabulous Valentine's Day. Bye!